what type of revenue, or are you willing to tell us how much money you can make, like either on a job or per month or in a year at a business like this?
I can't say how much I make because it's always growing. We're still growing.
Okay.
We started from a company that was making $100 to $200 a month 3 years ago, and then went to $1,000. And nowadays, depending on the jobs, you can even have a $10,000 job in 1 month, just one job. So
that's
the potential, there's a lot of potential, you know.
What's going on, everybody? Agent and Expat, and I'm sitting here with a brother that I spent a lot of money with, and he's a business owner here in Tanzania, in Salaam, very successful. So I want to interview him so you guys can see what it really takes to be successful in Tanzania, and some of the challenges you'll face if you decide to open a business or invest in the country. He has a lot of experience, and he's actually doing very well, so I think he will be a good person to give you some advice. What's going on, Eddie?
So I'm Eddie, the owner of Eddie's Paint.
Just give us an introduction of the business. What exactly do you do, and how long have you been doing it?
Okay, so basically we're an automotive shop. We do customizing cars, mechanical work, paint work, basically an auto shop for all of your car needs. In Tanzania, we've been doing this for 3 years now. We started 3 years ago, and overall I've been doing this for 10 years. Yeah.
So where did you learn how to do body work and mechanical and all of this?
So initially my father used to have a garage in UK where they used to do mechanical work and a bit of paint work. I was doing sports at the time, but then I was really interested, so I started learning off of YouTube. And then from YouTube I got some practice experience from working in my father's garage. And once my family closed down and moved back to Tanzania, I stayed there. I got my degree in automotive design, so I can design body kits, things like that, 3D design, and we use all of that to implement into this business. So basically I learned off of YouTube initially, took interest in it, and then I went to study for it.
So you mentioned your dad has a shop. Can you give me more background about the family business as a whole? And are you Tanzanian, or like what's your ethnic background, and like how are you here in Tanzania?
So my family is one of the ones that immigrated a long time ago, like 3 generations ago. And then I grew up over here. I did all my schooling up to primary school over here, and then I moved to the UK at the age of 13, 14. So I have experience from working over there for about 7 years. After living there for 7 years, I've now been here for 4 years, whereby the first year, before opening my garage, I worked as a freelance technician. So I used to go to people's houses and do the work like that. Initially, then we saving up by doing that. We got a small workshop where we could fix 4 cars, and then we've just grown into a bigger workshop.
I see. That's good.
Yeah.
So maybe we can go outside and you can show us some stuff, and then
So that's our workshop. We usually have about 25 cars work in progress at all times. So we're always working on 25 cars, 35 employees, and
So how is it, like how easy or hard is it to manage? You said 35 employees?
Yeah.
Tell us more about that.
So I mean, as you grow with these employees, you have to train them, you have to get their discipline in, teach them our ways, because I think the locals are really set into the ways where everything is laid back. So we get them into the move, and I think as you grow, they get used to it as well.
Yeah, that's definitely my experience. People here are on island time, and they like to move at a just really chill pace. And when you're from the West, you expect things to, move really fast and to happen instantly almost.
Yeah.
Hold
So
on.
we have staff who, like, some of them were used to coming in at like 11 for the last 2 years, but then as we grow, they learn that our ways are different, and they start following. I think it takes a lot of patience to grow the staff and train them.
Yeah. Why did you get into working in the body shop, or why did you create this in the first place?
I think I've always been interested in cars.
Okay. So biggest challenge with starting the business, especially being here in Tanzania, because my experience, it's a lot of bureaucracy, a lot of red tape. It's a lot of people get in the way, and I need money in order just to get my paperwork done. So what was your biggest challenge with just starting the business, getting your location, getting set up?
I would say the biggest challenge is in finding the right staff, finding trustworthy staff. So like in the starting, we had a lot of staff that was filtered through people who come take money, take advance on a job, and then never turn up. You get a lot of that. But once you filter through them, you have all the people. In terms of paperwork and bureaucracy, I think there's always systems in Tanzania for that. You have to always go through the right people.
Okay.
If you try to go directly and submit your papers and stuff, you always go through a lot of bureaucracy.
I see.
But if you hire an accountant and register your business, you might pay a bit more, but the work is done without any headache.
I see. So what he said is hire a professional, don't try to do it yourself, and that'll get you the speed that you're looking for.
Yeah.
So how has this industry changed since you started?
I think it's changed a lot. So since I started, like one thing in Tanzania is you have a lot of people who see something is successful, they want to do the same.
Right.
So since I've started, I've had people who are my customers turn into my competitors.
Really?
Yes. So you see the business, but in the last 3 years, some of those same customers turned competitors have already closed down.
I see. So what makes you more successful than them? Like, why are you better than them?
I think it's consistency, and we are not so much after profits. We're more after gaining customers and building a long-term business.
I see.
Short-term business is not what Tanzania would need.
So you're not really interested in making money first. It's really building relationship with your customers.
Exactly.
I see. So what unique services or approaches does this shop use that other body shops and paint shops don't do?
I think the main thing is the expertise. So the expertise and the quality that we have is what other people do not have, because we have training from outside. We use materials. We have access to order things from outside. Which is what a lot of people lack here.
Can you show us something?
Sure.
All right.
So, for example, normal garage in Tanzania would use a spray gun that's worth 25,000. This is 20 times the price.
I see.
500,000.
What's the difference?
The quality that it gives you. So a 25,000 spray gun would not give you the same quality as this.
I see.
We use paints that are from UK, like smear paints.
I see.
So all high quality stuff.
I see.
And, that's the difference.
So it says, how do you ensure quality in your service and in your customer satisfaction? Like, what do you do to guarantee that your customers are satisfied?
Okay. So initially, as we started, when we were few staff, fewer cars, it was just me personally checking every car. But nowadays, we have maybe 3 to 4 cars leaving every day. So I have me and 2 of my staff who are trained as managers who have been with me over the last 3 years. So you have to make sure that they're loyal. If I train them as a manager, they understand what my needs are, what my customer needs are. We take them, for example, to a showroom, show them what a brand new car comes like, so that they know that when we are giving our customer back the car promised as new, this is what a new car looks like.
Can you show us these 2 cars and show us what you're doing to it? How much does something like this cost here in Tanzania?
About 5 million shillings. You can see about $2,000, 2,000 USD.
For the job, but what about the vehicle?
For the vehicle, would probably cost about 40,000
USD? Okay. Okay, and what about this one over here?
So that one is the Mercedes S-Class.
Uh-huh.
This one, we sprayed the bumper.
Okay.
We do a full detail on the car.
What was wrong with it? Just wear and tear?
Yeah, just wear and tear scratches on the bumper. We spray the bumper and then polish the whole car.
So how much something like this cost, the car and the job?
The car probably about $15,000 and the job $300.
I see. It's a pretty nice car. So what's the main job that you get here, especially here in Dar es Salaam? What's the most common repairs that you make?
Mostly full repaints.
Okay.
Mostly full repaints, yeah.
Yeah, I've been here maybe 3 times so far. The road conditions are really bad here in Dar es Salaam or in Tanzania, really in Africa as a whole. So the bumper on my car has come off, like basically every 6 months I have to come back to Eddie so he can put it back on here. And that was my experience. That's how I met Eddie. I looked for a paint shop, a body shop, and he gave me such fair treatment, fair prices, excellent service. His skill is unmatched in the country. Nobody is better than him. People travel from all over the country to bring their vehicles to him because he's the absolute best. So how do you train your staff?
So it takes a lot of time, and you also need the staff to be willing to learn. So for example, we have staff here that has been trained to design stuff on CNC on the computer. Right there you see design stuff on the computer, CNC cutting.
Okay.
This guy is a trained welder.
Okay.
I sit at night, the videos that I watch to learn myself, I send them to them on YouTube.
I see.
I send them the YouTube link, put a voucher for them on their phone so that they can watch it. And mainly stuff like that, having meetings with them, explaining to them how things are done.
What's the biggest challenge you faced with this business?
The biggest challenge I would say is mainly with the staff.
I see.
Yes.
Have you taken any losses with this business?
Yeah, for sure. You have losses with pretty much, I would say, with every job.
Right.
We always account for a loss because you might respray a car and then somebody scratches it or somebody's broken something or lost something, and we promise our customers the best. So we always take into account that we have to replace that or we have to redo it, ensure that the car is gone without any scratch or anything.
See, that's very unique in this country because my experience is most of the time when you hire people to do a job, if they mess something up, they will not take accountability. So what he's saying is if his staff messes anything up, he'll pay for it just so that he can maintain his reputation, which is very unique. What's the most money you've ever lost with just like a staff mistake?
2 million shillings.
2 million shillings, which is
$1,000.
close to $1,000 that he came out of his pocket just to make sure that the customer was satisfied. That's very unique. So if anybody was interested in starting any type of business here in Tanzania, what would be maybe 3 points that you would give them to make sure that they, maybe like one, how do you get Tanzanians to give you money? Because I found that very difficult. And then 2, what can they do to make sure they can get into the right business and that the business actually succeeds? Because most of the people that I know, we come out here, we have ideas, we get into businesses, but we have to quit or we have to close the doors within 6 months to a year because we just can't figure out how to make it work.
Okay. I would say in order to pick the right business, firstly you have to know your skill and what the country needs.
Okay.
So when I came from the UK, I did not know what I wanted to do at that time. I actually applied for a job at Toyota.
Okay.
But then driving around on the street, I see how the cars are repaired. I visited other workshops, and I noticed that there's no competition.
I see.
There's nobody with the same skills. You see, so Tanzania lacks a lot of skills in different places. I think that's one of the biggest points. So if you can find a place where Tanzania is lacking in things like skills, it's a good gap to fill.
I see. So what type of revenue, or are you willing to tell us how much money you can make, like either on a job or per month or in a year at a business like this?
I can't say how much I make because it's always growing. We're still growing.
Okay.
We started from a company that was making $100 to $200 a month 3 years ago, and then went to $1,000. And now, depending on the jobs, you can even have a $10,000 job in 1 month, just one job.
That's,
so
that's
the
pretty
potential,
good.
there's a lot of potential, you know?
Yeah, and it doesn't take a lot to live comfortably here in Tanzania. So if you can get a $10,000 job, you're doing pretty good for yourself.
Secondly, what you said, how to get people to pay.
Yeah.
I think from what I've experienced, as long as the quality is good, people are willing to pay.
I see.
If the quality is not good, people are not willing to pay.
I see. So what are some of the most luxurious cars you've had here?
Well, we've done everything from Land Cruiser 300, Bentleys, G-Wagons, pretty much everything.
I see. Ferraris, Bentleys, G-Wagons, Land Cruiser 300s. All of these cars are close to, if not over 100,000 US. I mean, we have a S-Class Benz here. We have a Benz over here. We have an old school Land Cruiser here.
That's really a new Land Cruiser.
It's new?
Yeah.
Okay. This one here. All of these are very expensive cars, especially here in this country. So, like I said, people with the best cars, they all come to him because he's the best in the country. Anything else that you want to let my audience know before we go?
I would say that Tanzania is a good place. Has a lot of opportunities. It takes a lot of patience. Patience, and in a way, you can say smart. You need to have some kind of street smartness.
I see. So one last question. Is this the type of place where you can bring a little bit of money and try to grow it into a big business? Or do you think you need to have a significant investment first before you come?
Definitely, you can start with a little money. When I started, you can go and check the place out. I actually started with initially 5 million, which is $2,000.
Okay.
That I borrowed from my sister and my mom.
Okay.
And we've now grown that we have assets more than $30,000-$40,000 just in this business.
I see.
Okay, so, and we started in a really small place.
Right, so he corrected me. You know, I was starting to believe that you can't take something small and grow it into something large. But if you choose the right industry, you have the right skills, you have the right approach, then you can absolutely grow something small into something large. Thank you, Eddie. I appreciate all the work that you do for me. And if you're ever in Tanzania and you need some work, visit Eddie's Paint. Yeah, so this is my car right here, y'all. And like I say, the bumper is constantly falling off because the roads are trash out here. So I have to bring it to him about every 6 months for him to put the bumper back on. Today I came to get an alignment and some brakes and just like a tune-up, oil change, stuff like that. Man, he's so fair with his prices too. These Land Cruisers are always here. These things about $40,000-$50,000 US. You can find BMWs, Mercedes, stuff like this. But you know, cars like this are actually pretty cheap out here because they get damaged so often. So you can see they working on the bumper, probably for the same reason that my bumper is always falling off. You know, so most people, they invest in large SUVs like this, the Land Cruisers, you know, that are jacked up, you know, 4x4s. This is probably a $60,000, $70,000 car. What's going on, y'all? That's the staff. So he has a lot of staff that he trains. You see some of his work. So they're probably gonna restore this one. It's another Mercedes. And you know, they don't do just cars, man. I've seen him restore boats all the way from scratch. So man, he's really good at what he does. Anything fiberglass. He can even put custom body kits on work. I've seen him take cars from nothing, strip it down, and then put an entirely new custom body kit. So he'll take a car that's like a 2015 and he'll put the 2020 body kit on it. So man, it's very unique what he's doing here. There is absolutely no competition. When you have skills like this, there's no such thing as competition. He's gonna take us to his old location and show us some more stuff. All right, we on the streets out here at Makumbushu, Dar es Salaam, at Eddie's Paint.
Free, like for a whole year. And then I paid him after.
So this,
I rented half of it. So it's looking a lot better now than when we had it because of somebody else.
yeah. So this is, I mean, I wouldn't call it small. You can fit maybe
Five cars.
Yeah, 5 cars with space to
in
work.
here.
Yeah. So he would paint in here.
That used to be our store. The office in here.
Okay.
Behind here, I used to share the place with somebody who mills corn and maize and stuff like that. So,
Yeah, this is the old place, but he grew. And to be honest with you, he's always so backed up. He needs to grow again.
This was my investment, 5 million shillings. Putting the roof, these pillars, the floor. So when I came here, there used to be a toilet right there.
Really?
There was a toilet, and
Yeah.
they just used to be chickens. There was no gate, nothing.
Was it dirt or?
Yeah, it was just dirt. I have
Wow.
the pictures.
So for $2,000, he was able to put this up, put a floor down, remove the toilet in the middle of the place, and he started a business. This is pretty good, man. It's a great story.
Like, before, we used to park cars up to here. We built a shade out here, and then we used to work out here too.
Yeah. So what do you need to see or experience before you upgrade to your next shop?
So, like at the moment, we're lacking skill. So even if I get a bigger place, I don't have enough technicians. I can fill up the work, but then I don't have enough technicians to work on them.
I see.
So we're growing more teams. We have 4 teams right now. We're trying to get to at least 7 teams, and then we can go.
You ever thought about maybe having somebody from the UK like come in and help you who's like have really specialized skills like you?
I have, but personally, I think the cost right now is a lot higher than training a local person. If you're able to train a local person, why pay the higher
I
price?
see. Okay, so it's just like really investing in the people here.
Yeah.
And that's what the country wants too.
Yeah. I think if you're willing to pay the people the right price here, then they're very loyal.
I see.
So show them some of the better cars.
He's gonna show us some really good cars at this point. So bear with us. Crossing the street. All right, lead the way.
So just be careful of the number plates, yeah?
Okay.
These are all cars that we've done ready to go.
All right, so this is one of those big Land Cruisers, man. This is like a $80,000, $100,000 vehicle out here, believe it or not. So all of these, I'll blank them out on the video. Man, this is nice. Big Nissan Patroller. This thing is giant in person. So you're gonna knock this dent out?
Yeah. So
Okay.
this car is PPF protected. We also provide PPF services.
I see.
With a protected sticker.
Oh man, this is nice. See, he gets the best of the best in the country because you can't really trust it with anybody else. If you give these type of cars to anybody else, it'll come back with more damage than you gave it to him. It's the Range Rover from the back. It's really nice. So you haven't even gotten to most of these.
These ones, yeah, all of these ones we haven't yet.
Another another Benz. Big Nissan. Wow. What happened here? So you see that big scratch. Maybe a gate closed on them or something. But yeah, these are really nice. So you have to rent this parking lot just to hold these cars? Yeah. Wow, man, this is really good business.
Yeah.
You're doing great, Eddie.
Bought back the other day, so things like this, sometimes we get a good deal, we restore it. And then
Okay.
we sell it.
Yeah.
This is 660 cc.
How much will you sell it for once it's done?
6,000. 6,000
US?
Yeah.
Man, that's nice.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else? All right. You said you wanted to start a new business?
Yeah, so, but I think that it makes a big difference when you have the capital and you're just ready to go, rather than when you're desperate. I feel when you're desperate, you put way more effort in.
Right.
Yeah. So I would say if you have all the money, you have to be really careful with your budgeting.
I see.
Yeah.
So you're saying it's really better if you are desperate and you have very little money, because you'll find ways to be successful without spending too much.
And in Africa, there's always a way around something.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. That's good advice, because maybe, I was thinking that way, that you could use a little money, but I think my problem is not knowing the right people. Everybody's telling me that in all my businesses, from gold mining to this office I was doing. It's just really, I need the right relationships. And so can you advise me and everybody else, like, how do you meet the right people to even work with or to help you out?
I would say to have use professional people. So even for me personally, I've gone through people. I tried to buy a paint booth from somebody that I know, and he took the money from me, never gave anything.
Wow.
You see, but if you go to somebody professional,
Yeah.
you can go through that.
I see.
So I would say always use professional people.
Okay.
Somebody who has a registered company, things like that.
I see. Gotcha.